my goodness, y'all. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of the Eat Me podcast. This is Alicia. And it's so wild. This week, I have someone, actually a childhood um, school, a school friend that is actually here on the podcast. And it's wild how we connected again. Facebook is a wild place, let me tell you.
Mm,
And so,
absolutely.
right? And so, randomly saw a post that he had on there, and I reached out and I was like, we have got to connect. So, y'all, please, please, please give a warm welcome to DeMarco Majors. He is here on the Enemy podcast. Thank you so much, DeMarco, for being here today.
Alicia, one, I'm so proud and excited that you have something like this and that you're doing it. Not that it's just stuck in your head, but you're
Right.
actually doing it.
Thank
And
you.
being from the same hometown, the same school, like everything the same, like I couldn't have, because the post that I wrote it because of what I was experiencing, but I wrote it with a friend in mind
Mm,
that's how you seen it. I wrote it with her in mind
right.
because I wanted to help free her
Mm,
from additional chains that are still connected to her.
right.
And I wanted her to see what true standing in your truth, what
Right.
standing in your light, and what standing in your purpose really looks like from this lens.
Yeah, thank you. And for those of you who might be like, well, what is this post? What are y'all talking about? So, DeMarco, if you could share a little bit about the post that we're talking about, because I think particularly this actual month, well, we're still kind of in May, but we're actually celebrating Pride Month this month on the Enemy podcast. And a post that DeMarco put on Facebook, it related to the LGBTQ community and how just empowering us as LGBTQ members, how we can do that by way of just expression. But actually, you just take it away. I'm ruining it. Go ahead.
So basically, I wrote about because I'm in a new movie,
Yes.
which I'm extremely excited about. It's not always rainbow and sunshines, is what it's called, and there's
Yeah.
five different stories. It's an apartment complex with five different floors with different things going on, and we
Right.
all kind of interact by this one restaurant that's near the building. But I wrote a post sharing with people, if you have a problem with me being in a film that is about LGBTQI representation, then you have one or two things. Either you can learn
Mm,
and accept, because what we don't need in the LGBT community, and I want people to really take this in. We do not need people to understand us,
yes.
because understanding brings confusion. Confusion brings reasoning.
Yeah.
What we want is acceptance.
Right.
Accept me first. Then you will learn about me. And when you learn about me, you will understand more about me. When you get true understanding, you get true knowledge. When you get true knowledge, then you get true wisdom.
Yes.
So I wanted to take people on a journey of what it looks like, not about allyship, but what it really takes for you to truly invest and love into yourself.
Yeah.
And as LGBTQI plus people, we have the opportunity to share with people. We never came out of anything. We invited people into more of ourselves
Yeah.
because we shrinked so much. So that post was about no longer shrinking, no longer playing small,
Yeah.
no longer allowing people to have conversations around you. Like, why would you be at work and listen to other people talk about their boyfriend or girlfriend and you feel uncomfortable to talk about yours?
Yeah.
No, we're not doing
Right.
that in 2026.
Right.
So that was what that post was about.
I love it. And at one point in that post, I believe it was that post, and let me know if I'm wrong, but there was a point where you brought up the whole component of like living in your truth has been more of a spiritual journey, if anything, and really providing you that opportunity to kind of like hone in to your spiritual self in ways that you might not have been able to had you not had you or had, if you not are if you aren't living in your truth. I can't talk. What's going on,
Well,
man?
absolutely. What you have to People have to remember this, that even if you use scripture, it
Hmm.
says Teach them everything that I have commanded you.
Mm.
But what was the main commandment? To love yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, in order to know the truth is about loving yourself completely.
Right.
Now, when you love yourself in totality, that means you get to make decisions on which way you're going to go.
Yeah.
And too many of us have been raised in the idea that we are a mistake or we make mistakes. Now, let me ask you something. If you put coordinates into a GPS and you go right instead of left when it tells you to go left, what does it do?
It reroutes.
Exactly. So that means you cannot get it wrong.
Ah, yes.
So when I really accepted that truth as a
Mm.
part of my truth, and not only did I accept it, I practice it.
Mm.
And then when you practice something, you have to be able to teach it.
Right. Right.
Because it's the difference between knowing and believing. I don't just know this, I believe it. I
Mm.
live it. I
Right.
breathe it. It oozes. Everything that's inside of me comes out of my pores. That's why people always say, you don't seem to age because my truth, my beliefs, my desires, they grow, they change, they develop, they grow up, they
Yeah.
mature. So that's what that is about. My true spiritual self gained a better acceptance and understanding of me
Yeah.
and understanding of scripture and understanding of thought because I've studied Hinduism, Taoism, Judaism, Christianity, Catholicism. I've studied all over the world,
Right.
and I came to I came to a knowledge of what I accept as my truth. There are over 8 billion people on this earth, which means there
Mm.
are over 8 billion truths.
Right.
And you get to choose which one you want to attach yourself to.
I love that. I love that. And I think this is a powerful, like what you just said was so powerful because I think so many people um are so conditioned to follow certain standards, right? Even beyond the whole LGBTQ community. And I think for me, what I've experienced since coming out and just living my authentic self is that I have been, and obviously you as well, have been that mirror for people to be like, "Oh, I don't have to conform to all this."
Yeah,
You know, that's beautiful. I think, and I pray that more people continue to move in that way. Because I'm thinking about folks back home. Y'all know we're from Evansville, Indiana, and I'm grateful for growing up there,
really,
and
truthfully.
right, and at the same time, there are still things that caused me to shy away from my authenticity. Like it took me
Yeah.
a long time by way of just living in Evansville and also, growing up in Christianity to understand that who I am is not a sin. I've not done anything wrong. I'm not this weird outcast. Um,
At all.
and so it's been beautiful to even have people DM me, send me messages like Alicia, like just watching you live your life with your wife, and your daughter and all this. It's like something I would have never imagined. So thank you for being that. Do you get that a lot from folks?
I do. And you know what always excites me and also causes me to question
Mm.
is that it's me.
Yeah.
Like, y'all don't understand when you from Evansville, Indiana, to be chosen for something as big of a stage as this.
Yeah. Mm.
Like, I have people from countries that it makes me emotional because
Mm.
I've had people when I lived in Sao Paulo, Brazil,
Mm.
who who would climb up poles to be able to be closer to internet of someone else's home, to be able to reach out to someone that they felt they connected to, and it happened to be me, so that they could feel freedom in their own truth.
Yeah.
Like someone was so willing in their desire to be free that they would walk a few miles to get to a place where there's Wi-Fi
Mm.
so that they could have community.
Wow. Wow.
And they chose me
Yeah.
because God chose me
Yeah.
for this.
Right. Right.
And no one could ever take that away from me.
I love
You can
that.
say what you want, you can feel how you want, you can march, you can scream, you can do whatever you want to.
Right.
I could care less because I started marching at 8 years old, so I know what it's like. So you can't take this away from me.
Right. Right.
I am here, like me and my friends say, ride this till the wheels fall off.
Exactly. Exactly. I wanted to ask, we're kind of like going in and out of order here, but it is what it is. When did you realize that you were gay? And was it something that happened, in like early stages, like of your childhood, or was it something later on in life? Like, when did all this kind of like start? Like, oh, I'm not quote unquote straight or whatever, you know?
I didn't know what gay was.
Mm.
I knew I was different.
Yeah.
And not different in the way that you think you're different because, there's, because you're shying away from everything. I was different because my friends treated me as different.
Mm.
See, I grew up on the east side of town,
Okay.
but my upbringing is on the south side.
Yes.
See, on the east side back then, it was white folks,
Yes.
but the south side was affluent black families
Yes.
because you had Bayard Park black people who had
Yes.
great jobs and great income and education, and there's a black library there. And
Yes.
I liked hanging out over there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I hung out with my friends on Lincoln Street, and it was nothing but, people gambling on your basketball games that teenagers, I'm talking about preteens,
Yeah.
there are drugs and guns being gambled on an 11, 12, 13-year-old kid's basketball game.
Right.
And you can't go home because you got two services on Sunday that you got to go to, the morning and the evening.
Yes.
And then you're going to get a whooping because you can't go home in the evening because they done put guns and drugs on your game.
Yeah.
And you got to explain that to your grandparents why
Right.
you didn't show up at church or why you was late.
Right.
And so my friends protected me. They said I
Mm.
was different, even though I wasn't the best in basketball.
Right.
But they said there was something different about me. They used to say, Marco, we about to go over here. What you about to do?
Yeah.
And I thought they didn't like me.
Mm.
But then I realized I used to say every single night because my mom gave me away on Christmas Day
Yeah.
when I was 13.
Mm.
Not because she's a horrible mother,
Right.
because she had to make a really tough decision for her child.
Mm.
And that was ordained by God because I was put in a position to learn new things and to learn different things
Right.
that my mother could not teach me
Wow.
at that time.
Right.
And so I used to cry every single night because I didn't know who was protecting my siblings.
Wow.
I didn't know if they were teaching them don't eat from the spoon that got black marks under it
Right. Right.
because we
Right.
come from that type of home.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I used to cry every single night and say, God, there has to be something better for me
Mm. Yes.
because I got to save my siblings. And then by the time I was 16, about to graduate from high school, I knew there was something different about me.
Mm.
There was something different about me. There was something in there. Why did I feel like every time I watch TV, I'm supposed to be on there?
Mm.
I could see myself. I could imagine it. And then by the time I was 22, 23 years old, I knew I was powerful.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how to exercise that power.
Right.
So I never thought that being gay was a sin or something wrong or something bad.
Right.
It was my superpower. I just didn't have my Alfred yet. Because every story,
Yeah.
either you have a hero, a villain, and a guide. In my beginning of my story, I wanted to be the hero.
Right.
I'm almost 50. It's time to be a guy. It's time because Batman wouldn't be shit without Alfred. So I'm Alfred now.
Right.
But that's where I'm at in my life. So
Right.
it's not that I knew that I was gay. I
Mm.
just didn't know how to access my superpower. And if anyone were to come to me and talk to me, being a part of this community, there is a superpower in you.
Yeah.
And you just have to, some of us thought that we were unlovable.
Yeah.
It was just we were around people who didn't have the capacity to love us. And that capacity would have taught us how to use our superpower. I
Right.
just was in the wrong space. I
Yes.
was just in the wrong place. And once I got around not the right people, but the best people.
Mm.
And the reason why I say that is because when you do what's right for you, it's cautionary.
Mm.
Because you go, is this the right thing to do? Okay, I'm going to do it. It's the right thing to do.
Right.
But when you do what's best for you, it's visionary because you
Wow.
have a vision for your life. And I had a vision for my life. So God put me around other visionaries. And that's how I access my superpower.
That is beautiful. And the way you just described that is just it's so empowering in a way that it actually um expands you beyond this identity that a lot of people put us like we so once someone finds out, oh, you're gay, you're lesbian, whatever, so that's just you done, like there's nothing else beyond that, right? And I love the way you brought that together because it like I said, it just takes it beyond this whole sexuality component because that was something that personally for me, I don't know about for you, I struggled with because for the longest it was a thing of like, oh my gosh, I don't want people to think I'm this overly sexual being that's like out here trying to, whatever. It's like there's so much more to
Okay.
me. There's so much more to me than that. If that
Well,
makes
that
sense.
was your conditioning. You got to
Yes.
remember, we some of us, not everyone, but some
Right.
of us in the community, we are same gender loving
Mm.
individuals.
Yes.
The reason why people say that we're abomination is because they are not same gender loving because they think of sex.
Yes.
So when you think of sex and you're not same gender loving, of course you're going to think it's disgusting or perverted or something like that because you don't consider the loving first, you consider the sex.
Right. Right.
That's not a turn on for you.
Mm.
Because why is it that men can turn women into very sexual beings when it's a woman and a woman?
Right. Right.
So you're telling me that you're turned off by gay, but you're watching two women, which that is the same thing. And
Right.
most people still don't. But that's when I say your conditioning.
Mm.
It is our conditioning from where we're from, where people automatically turn towards a perversion
Yeah.
of sex because people don't want to talk about it because they were molested.
Say all of that. Yes and
We
yes.
all were.
Yeah.
And then we were all taught to play hide and go get it. We were all taught to play house. So
Mm.
we were taught all these games to be adults and to do adult things
Mm.
that took our innocence.
Yes.
So the conditioning is that.
Yeah. Thank you for that. That just hit me in a way that, wow. Because that was another thing too. It was the idea of being a victim of um, being molested. It was like, oh, was this the reason that I'm gay, right? And then that's been a thing too, where folks have said that to me, where it's like, oh, that's probably why, and it's like, no, that's not it. I like you said, it's a gender loving thing.
If it were that simple,
Hmm.
why did we grow up watching The Cosby Show, The Family Matters, all these different TV shows where there were affluent black families loving one another, and we watch it every day,
Right.
and we're still same gender loving?
Right. Right.
If it were that simple. No, someone did something to us that was probably done to them,
Mm. That.
So I'm not going to penalize wholeheartedly because the kids that did things to me were kids
Yeah. Right.
who, and I remembered them saying certain things to us, and then there were things that were said to them. If you don't do this to this person, we're going to do this to you.
Wow.
Now, there are certain things, and now when I was a little bit older and it happened from adults, I penalized the adults.
Of course. Of
You knew
course.
better.
Right.
But when it was kids, some kids didn't know better because they were pressured and they were pushed and they were doing what was taught to them.
Right.
Now, am I giving them a pass? No. But what I am saying is that there are levels to it.
Yes. Yes.
There are
Yes.
levels to it. Unfortunately, there are. But sometimes your story starts there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes your story just starts at the trauma. It's not the cause, but it can be the cure.
My God. Mm. Yeah. It's so funny. I was just talking to a friend, maybe a few hours before we started talking, and we were talking. He was just talking about his, traumas that he has, now turned into his victory story. And it took him a while to realize that these traumas were things that would then propel him to be the person he is today, and how we can use that to actually be an example to other folks. Is like, yes, these things have happened, and still I can be my best self despite all these things that have happened to me.
Because I'm the cause and the cure.
Yes.
Because the book I'm writing, the book I'm finishing right now, it should be out hopefully August, September. Is called When You Go Within, You Never Go Without.
Oh, I love that.
Because you are the cause and the cure.
Mm.
The cure is always within. Why is it they're trying to figure out a way for us to regenerate ourselves?
Hmm.
If I didn't know biology correctly, if you go to sleep, your body regenerates.
Yeah.
If I put a band-aid on a scar on a cut, and then I come back a few hours later, it's slowly healing itself. That's called regeneration.
Yeah.
So the reason why I say regeneration is because we have to do that with our brain.
Yeah.
Everything in the brain is chemical.
Mm.
Nothing is visual until you attach an emotion to it.
Wow.
So all the languaging that you learned during trauma is you attaching an emotion that you probably didn't have the correct definition
Mm.
to a memory, and every time that memory comes up it creates a different pattern and a different habit to protect you.
Wow.
So you are the cause, but if you go to sleep on it before you react, you can respond, you can be your cure because your body will regenerate, your brain will regenerate. You will get a different way of looking at things. You will get a different way of responding to things. You will get a different way of viewing things when you put yourself in different situations. Like I was saying before, you were around people who did not have the capacity
Mm.
to teach you about the superpower that was within you. So they taught you what they were taught. They taught you church fear instead
Wow.
of church love,
Wow. So true.
because that's all the capacity that they had.
Right.
But
Right.
once you got away from them, you got around people whose capacity was so immense that they just ooze love.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for me personally, I was around black men, regardless of how they dated.
Mm.
I was around black men who had the capacity to love me in such a way that they said, DeMarco, if you don't go out there and make some fucking mistakes, go
Yes.
on out there and make some mistakes
Yeah.
so that you can learn if that's what you want to add to your life, if that's what you don't want to add to your life.
Right. Right. Right.
Now, we're not going to let you just go all the way down.
Right.
But we're not going to stop you from making mistakes because that's what creates the man that you want to be.
Right.
Because then you learn,
Mm.
you realize, ooh, mm-mm, I don't need to be dating that type of person. No.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Because I learned my mom would not allow me to live in my hometown because she said there's no options for my mentality to
Yeah.
date.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been trying to go home for years so I can be with my nieces and nephews.
Right.
And even my nieces and nephews say, Unc, if you come home, I ain't got nowhere to visit.
That's true.
And I'm like, but I want to be home because I want to cook Sunday dinner where my family comes over because they love my cooking.
Yeah.
Because they didn't know I could cook. I'm like, you don't get this heavy without knowing how to cook.
Right, right,
Because
right,
I got all grandma's seasonings. I know how to do it.
right.
But I realized that, and I think you see this too in your life, when you are the sole proprietor of oneness,
Mm.
people are like, why would you come home? That you always get this conflicting messages because when you like you, I got my wife, I got my kid,
Right.
I got my business.
Right.
Like I could come home, like with the money I make, I could have me a 3,500 square foot house
Right.
and live good
Right. Exactly.
instead of an apartment that's 1,500 square foot, and it's still a big apartment in LA,
Yeah.
but it's an apartment.
Right. Exactly. Same here in New York. Same thing. Same thing.
But I want to say to you that I hope from this conversation that you no longer see that you came out, that you have been chosen to harness a superpower with the capacity to have a podcast where 10, 15, 100, thousands, millions are to channel you.
Yeah. Yeah. That is beautiful. DeMarco, this was amazing. You are amazing. Seriously. Like so many things you said in this conversation, I was like, okay, I need to take that and internalize that and use that for my life, and then to spread that joy to other folks as well. Because this conversation was awesome. Thank you so much, y'all. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Eat Me podcast. I will see y'all next week. DeMarco, thank you so much again.